Hey there, beer enthusiasts. Welcome to Beers That FITZ, the podcast where we dive into the world of craft beer, one brewery at a time. And I'm your host, Rob Fitz, and I'm here to bring you closer to the people behind your favorite brews. In each episode, we sit down with the passionate owners and talented brewmasters who make the magic happen, exploring their stories, inspirations, and unique flavors they bring to the table. Whether you're a seasoned beer connoisseur or just starting your craft beer journey, Beers That FITZ has something for everyone. So grab your favorite brew, sit back, and let's toast to good company and great beers. This is Beers That FITZ, where every story fits perfectly into the world of craft beer. Slanja. Welcome back, beer lovers. Today we're diving into a story of White Lion Brewing Company with head brewer Mike Yates. Mike's journey in Western Mass beer scene is something special. He's come full circle, starting his career with one Ray and now working alongside another Ray, Raymond Berry Jr., founder of White Lion Brewing. White Lion began in 2014 when Ray saw a gap in the Springfield beer scene and decided to create something uniquely local. Now with a prime spot at 1500 Main Street in Springfield, Massachusetts, White Lion is a true community staple. Today, Mike and I will chat about White Lion's exciting lineup, from their Carnival Candy Sour to their classic local pilsner and two unique seltzers. So grab a pint, get comfortable, and let's dive into the incredible story of White Lion Brewing with Mike Yates, the head brewer. Let's get started. All right, so we are here with Mike Yates, and I'll let you introduce yourself. Just tell me who you are and where we are today.
Thanks, Rob. I am Mike Yates. I am the brewer here at White Lion. I guess technically I'm the brewmaster.
Okay.
I've been doing this a long time, but
Yeah.
I've always been kind of a little averse to that term because it sounds kind of pretentious and sounds like you know everything, and
Right.
I'm still learning stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's good. So we'll jump right into it. Tell us about your brewery journey. Where did you start, and how'd you get to where you are today at White Lion?
It's been a long and undulating journey. So I got my start back in the late 90s. When I was at UMass in around 90 or 91, when I turned 21, we found a brewery called McNeil's up in Brattleboro, Vermont. And he was one of the only people making good beer at the time. 10 years later, I was moving to the area, and I went there looking for a bartending job, and they offered me a job cleaning the bar and the bathrooms 2 days a week and helping out in the bottling room.
Okay.
And I took that opportunity. And after a few months, one of the brewers quit, and Ray said, "Hey, do you want to learn how to make beer?" Seemed like a good idea.
Yeah.
And that was 1997, I believe.
And that was Ray at that brewery, not this Ray?
That's a different Ray. Ray McNeil's was a legend. He recently passed away in a terrible, tragic incident. But
That's too bad.
But yeah, Ray, it's funny. Full circle. Started with Ray McNeil and ending with Ray Berry. So.
Yeah. Can you describe your brewing philosophy and, what sets your beers apart from others?
That's a good question. I always strive for, quality ingredients, and consistency is just key. Just being able to replicate on a consistent basis and making it clean. I'm still the lead brewer here. I do most of the work myself. I have an assistant that helps out in all aspects, but I'm still kind of a control freak. I like to do it myself and make sure it comes out right.
It's not like a big, huge team like you see at like Treehouse, or even bigger like, Budweiser or anything like that.
It's usually two of us here. Today it was just me. Yeah, so we brew, we can, we cellar, we do it all. So it's kind of I wear a lot of hats, as they say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can definitely say that White Lion, the beer, the consistency, it's pretty consistent in this area. People keep on coming back. Our the most famous beer here, or the most popular one, the Marcus Camby, which we're actually drinking today. It's always consistent, no matter if you get it in the can or pour it out. What was the first beer you ever brewed, and how'd it turn out?
Well, like I was saying, my startup at McNeil's, I'm kind of the rare case where I was not a home brewer. I've literally never owned homebrew equipment. Over the years, I have ended up brewing small batches with friends. So my first brew ever was a 5-barrel batch of an alt beer for Ray that we actually sent to Denver for the Great American Beer Fest, and I think we got a silver medal. So
Oh, that's nice.
Ray was kind of an eccentric genius, but he made some of the best beers, and I learned a lot from him. So.
Yeah, that's great. How do you come up with new beer recipes and flavor profiles? Does Ray Berry let you do whatever you want here, or does he like to interact with different types of beers that are brewed here?
Well, that's a good question. It's kind of a team approach. He often comes up with an idea.
Okay.
A couple years ago, he went home to the Jersey Shore and came back and said, "Hey, let's make a saltwater taffy beer." And I kind of looked into it, but the only way they sell saltwater taffy is in those tiny little things. And I was like, I'm not going to unwrap 10,000 pieces. But anyway, and that segued into a discussion about carnivals. And the Carnival Candy Sour was born because it's kind of a marshmallowy, vanilla, cherry, flavorful fruit sour.
Yeah.
That was a big hit. And then from there, we started making the blueberry marshmallow.
So the Carnival Candy came out first before the blueberry marshmallow.
I believe the Carnival was the first of the sour. And now we have a whole series of sours.
Yeah.
Hopsicle series and marshmallows
and Bellinis and stuff.
Yeah, the Bellini series, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I lose track of the names. Again, Ray comes up with the names and he's like, make this happen. So.
Yeah. Okay. And do you come up with your own ideas too and just run it by him, or?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, like the Marcus Camby, when we got into a partnership with Marcus from UMass, and he had a couple ideas, and I was ready for a new IPA, and I was like, why don't we do this? And so, like I said, I've always made clean beers. I literally spent the first 15 or 20 years of my career making clear, bright, crisp beers, and then I had to reinvent the wheel on how to make hazy, soft New Englands, and it was a little learning curve, but this Marcus has really kind of hit the spot, and it's kind of our flagship at this point. It sells really well. So
I mean, people come in here and ask for it all the time, so it's definitely the most popular, if not the number one beer here. What's the most challenging aspect of running the brew room in the back?
That's a good question. Again, just trying to consistently get everything in order. That's the whole production manager part of my job.
Yeah.
Ordering ingredients. I mean, I work with a variety of purveyors. Valley Malt's a good local addition. We don't make all our beers with their malt, but definitely use a lot of their stuff. So yeah, just again, it's part of the consistency equation where you just kind of consistently get the same stuff and mix it up.
Yeah. So you have like a schedule that you have everything based on. You come in during the day, in the morning, you do this, and then you do this, and then can it. You have that kind of schedule.
It's a little more free form around here, like whatever. But yeah, we basically brew a couple days a week and can a couple days a week and do tank cleaning a day.
Yeah. Got to keep everything clean.
Yeah.
How do you ensure consistency and quality across all your batches?
Again, this comes back to me just being, it's hard for me to delegate, so I just do it myself.
Yeah.
Make sure it's done right. And I do have a great assistant right now, Ryan, that's really stepped up. And he's young and enthusiastic and works hard, so that's great. Yeah. Finding good help is always a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can completely understand. I run a landscape company myself, and
there you go.
Finding good people to work for you, especially when you like to micromanage people and stuff. Let's see here. Do you have a favorite brew or a beer here at the brewery?
I drink the Marcus Camby almost every day.
Yeah,
but I'm not just I do have cans of the local pilsner. I love a good crisp pilsner. And the Light Life Lager is a nice low alcohol beer that the older I get, the more I enjoy the low alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I can drink more than a couple.
Yeah. Nice summer beers, after you're done mowing the lawn.
Yeah, I love a good session beer that you can really just enjoy.
Can you share any interesting or funny stories that happened during your brewing process?
Hey, funny stories. The very first tank I cleaned, again at McNeil's back in the day, my mentor, not Ray, but another guy's like, hey, take this tank apart and clean it put it back together, and then transfer this beer into it.
Yeah.
Which I did, but I hooked up the hose with forgetting to put a valve. So then there was no way to disconnect the hose.
Oh, geez.
And it was a quick lesson in how to put a valve on a tank of gushing beer.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's actually kind of... Cold beer is... You'd think it wouldn't hurt, but it's pretty sharp and painful. And it's kind of a trick.
Yeah.
The trick is to you young guys, open the valve, let the beer go through while you seat the gasket. And then shut the valve. But that was a good one. Another time I was brewing and the outlet valve on the kettle was dripping a little bit, and I felt it shouldn't be dripping. So I tried to adjust the gasket, and it fell apart, which A, dumped 10 barrels of boiling wort onto the floor, and B, filled my boots with boiling wort.
Oh.
That didn't feel so good.
No,
so
not at all.
This was the thing. McNeil's was a pub, so I was down in the basement. I went upstairs, and it was a Friday afternoon. Went up to the bar, packed bar, and I just barged behind the bar and poured myself 3 pints of beer and drank them fast. And my girlfriend looked at me and said, "Wow, we're going to the hospital." So
Yeah. And what kind of...
I had pretty good burns on my hands and feet that day. So, and also 300 gallons of beer down the drain. It was not very fun.
No, that's not. So what is that? What does that go into for kegs and stuff?
That would be 20 kegs.
20 kegs. Wow.
Yeah, that was not my best moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, you live and learn.
What kind of trends in the craft beer industry excite you the most right now?
They're all terrible right now. RTDs are growing really fast. Seltzers continue to dominate a portion of the market.
What's an RTD?
RTD is ready to drink.
Okay.
Things like margaritas, gin and tonics.
Okay.
You know, what's another good one? I don't know. Just cocktails in a can.
Cocktails in a can.
Which I admit I drink occasionally. But
yeah. I think I've seen Coca-Cola have a Jack and Coke in a can.
I wouldn't doubt it. But
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Almost everything you can get just ready to go now. So a few years ago, the seltzers really kicked into the beer market and, cut into the portion of beers being drank.
Yep.
And then these ready-to-drinks. And also there's just a general trend of less drinking. I think during COVID, everybody got hammered for the first 6 months or a year. And then everybody was like, what the hell am I doing? And stopped drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people kept that. So, and also I have teenage kids and they're not really drinking. They drink a little bit, but they're not like I was.
Right,
you know?
right.
So
Yeah.
I think there's just a general trend to less consumption. So again, you got to kind of stand out. And I mean, I think we've all seen a lot of local places closing
Yeah.
for one reason or another. And it's tough out there. The wholesale market's tough. So we just try to do the best down here. And thankfully, the pub's doing really well. And
Yeah,
That's all I
two
can do is-
locations here. One down here, one in Amherst,
Yeah.
Massachusetts. So by UMass Amherst.
yeah, that's a funny story. Downtown Amherst. So in my beer travels, at one point I was the head brewer for Amherst Brewing when they were located in downtown Amherst, and I was there from like 2001 to 2008.
Okay.
And then I left, and then they moved to their new location down at the hangar at the bottom of the hill on University Drive. And but that was like 15 years ago, and now we just went back into that space,
Oh, the same space.
the exact same space.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Things come full circle.
Now, I know they have a brew room up there. Have you brewed any beers up there yet?
Unfortunately, we have not made any beer there yet, but that's going to change really soon here. We're going to do some. We have a little 3-barrel system, so we're going to do some test batches.
Okay.
Yeah, my assistant is ready to get up there and do some fun stuff.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned seltzers earlier. I know we have 2 seltzers. Tell me how you guys decided to get into the seltzer world, and then that Cloud 9 seltzer.
Well, it's part of the licensing in Massachusetts, and here under our license thing, we can only serve what we make. And so we don't have any guest beers, we don't have any ciders. And so the natural option was to make a seltzer. So we started out with a lime seltzer and then a berry seltzer. And now we make a 10% seltzer, and we're using it to make like little cocktails with. So it's kind of broadened our fan base a little bit.
Yeah.
People, not everybody wants a beer, so they can come in and get like a seltzer and soda and
Yeah.
Like it's like a
margarita or...
Yeah, we do some margaritas and we do... I don't even know. It's just a bunch of different, flavorings you add to some seltzer and you get a cocktail out of it. So, but people love it. So
I think the upside down pineapple is the most popular one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah. How do you source your ingredients? I know you mentioned Valley, but how do you guys source your ingredients? And do you have any special partnerships with any local farms or suppliers?
We don't do I tried the local thing. Nothing against the local hop market, but consistency and quantity I really need for the beers I'm making. And so the Pacific Northwest has been a stronghold on the hop market for years.
Yeah. So
we have contracts with a couple growers out there. The hops, it was always about the hops for the longest time. And the IPAs are pretty contingent on that.
Yeah.
Grains, there's a couple, houses that carry a variety of, European and American malts that we just consistently get. So again, we just kind of stick with what we know and go with it.
What role does sustainability play in your brewing process? I mean, I know we're in a building and everything. It's not like it's a tall building. What do you call this? A tower.
It's an office tower, hotel.
It's an office
mall complex.
So it's not like we can throw solar panels on the top or anything and produce our own power. But what kind of sustainability can you do
Let's talk about that for a second. So Ray Berry was determined to put a brewery in downtown Springfield.
Right.
We looked at several locations over a few years trying to find the right combination of space and accessibility and whatnot. And finally, we got the offer on this location, which is in, like we were just saying, Tower Square Mall. It's in the center of Springfield. It's an entire city block, but it's a terrible place to put a brewery because logistics of bringing tractor trailers into here with grains and hops and cans, and then getting rid of the grain. So fortunately, we found a local farmer who comes and is happy to pick up our grains and brings them back to his farm and feeds it to his pigs, and occasionally kicks us a few ribs and bacon. He hasn't been that lately. I gotta hit him up for some more bacon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great because obviously wet grain is a big, heavy waste product for us.
Right.
But it's still got a tremendous amount of nutritional value, so he takes it and feeds it to the pigs. And but yeah, sustainability in brewing is tough. There's a lot of waste. There's a lot of packaging, So we do what we can, recycle what we can, reuse what we can, but it's tough. It takes a lot of heat, and it's it's a very, I don't want to say labor intensive, but we use a lot of materials. It's not as easy as it looks.
Right. What advice would you give to someone that's looking to start making their own beer, or even taking to the next level to start their own brewery?
Wow. Go back to school and think about something else. The beer market is tapped out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been lucky. I've made a career out of it. Like I said, I've been doing it for 25 years now, which is kind of a scary thought. But, it's tough. It really is tough. I mean, a lot of guys think that they can make a couple good beers on a home brew and then just jump into being a production brewery, and it's a whole different animal. There are guys that do it. Mark Avery down the road has done a really good job. And
episode number 1. If you haven't checked it out, that's 2 weeks notice.
He was number 1.
He was.
Oh, man. Shout out Mark.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for he and Murph. They're killing it over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's tough. On the one hand, you're your own boss, but on the other hand, it's nonstop.
Right.
And there's a lot of heavy. It's like grain bags weigh 55 pounds. And a batch of beers, 24, 25 of those bags. It's a lot of weight to toss around, which was fun when I was younger, but not so much.
Never mind the weight of a full keg.
Yeah, let's not talk about kegs. I've gotten better at moving them with forklifts.
Yeah, definitely.
I've gotten pretty good at driving a forklift.
Can you share any exciting new beer releases? I know you had mentioned that there's a small brewery area in the Amherst area that you're going to start, possibly making some new things. Do you guys have anything in the pipeline that you're thinking of releasing, or even here?
I've got a lot of ideas up there, but Actually, just this week we brewed our stout, which is called Without Exception. It's kind of a kitchen sink. We just made it the other day, and it had so many different grains in it. And we're going to there's some chocolate and vanilla beans are going in there. So I'm pretty excited for that. It's a beer we don't make very often, so that'll be a good one. And then we're doing a collab. I'm going to forget the guys' names that won a homebrew contest. And
was it at the Worthy? Not last year, but the previous 2 years?
Worthy. The one that, I should have looked that up. Anyway, we're going to brew an IPA. I think it's going to be a rye IPA. So that'll be fun. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to get that in. Just keep an eye out. That'll be a draft-only release for here in Amherst.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that.
You mentioned stout. There was one a couple years ago that you guys had aged in a barrel for a couple years or so. I believe it was Black is Beautiful.
Yeah,
is that right?
Black is Beautiful stout.
Yeah. Tell us the story about that.
Well, there was this nationwide campaign for everybody to brew a stout in support of, I don't know if it was Black Lives Matter, but it was a general cause. And so we actually teamed up with Trillium and brewed a kind of a triple, like a 10% stout. It was just this massive beer, and then we aged it in bourbon barrels for like a year. It was wild because we were trying to move in here, so they ended up aging for like over a year in bourbon barrels. But it came out so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
That beer was amazing. And I wanted to make it again, but Ray's like, no, let's just keep it simple. Let's just do it. Because it's a really expensive beer.
So there's nothing in the pipeline of aging anything?
Not at the moment, but again, if we get Amherst going, we can do a lot of those smaller kind of, a little more crazy things, big, strong things, and maybe throw them in barrels. Yeah, I love that. It's got a great flavor. But
yeah, there's T-shirts here that say "Black is Beautiful" on the back, and customers do ask occasionally, what is that? And so we have to tell them, it was an aged beer that we used to have, but we don't currently have it on tap anymore.
Yeah, you can't do everything. I always try to do things, but it's like when we moved in here, I put in 16 taps, thinking 16 would be plenty. And on the one hand, it is plenty, but on the other hand, we always, because we have like 3 or 4 sours, 3 or 4 IPAs, and then a few lagers, and that's already a dozen taps right there without even trying. So it's kind of hard to fit all the beers I want to make in sometimes.
Yeah. How do you determine what goes on tap?
Popularity, usually. Whatever. We got to keep the big ones flowing, and then kind of fill it in from there. Seasonally adjusted, as always. We do the Hefeweizen in the summer, and the stouts in the winter, and whatnot. But
yeah. Do you have a favorite beer festival? I mean, we have the Worthy down here in downtown Springfield, but there's a bunch of festivals all over, New England and stuff. Do you have a favorite one that you go to?
Wow, beer festivals used to be such a thing, and now they're kind of like a little passé. But the Worthy, Jeff always does a great job with that, and it's fun because it's kind of like everybody. It's like the old reunion thing. We all get together. Actually, tonight I'm going to an event over at the Log Cabin.
All right.
Called Brews and Bites and Bids, and it's a fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters. But again, they've invited like 20 local breweries, so I look forward to it because get to see my homeboys.
Yeah, see all your friends and stuff, your colleagues.
Also, the food is killer. So
you can't beat the food at the Log Cabin.
I'm there for my friends, but I'm there for the food.
Yeah, definitely. What's one thing you wish more people knew about craft beer?
That's a good. What do people need to know about craft beer? Well, there's more than IPAs out there. That is coming back. For a while now, it was just like hazy IPAs everywhere you looked. I think I went to one brew pub, and that was all they had. And I was like, come on. I love them, but 7 hazy IPAs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I think that's coming back. Like the continental styles of Pilsner and Kolsch. And, the English beers, brown and porter. There's so many great beers and styles out there that, do a little research and
Oh, of course, they turn the music on.
And we're back.
Yes, we're back. And so you were talking about Pilsners and lagers coming back.
Oh, yeah, that there's just a lot of styles out there that people either haven't been exposed to and haven't tried, but I guess I was saying like the English brown ales and ESBs and porters and stouts. and
Yeah, a couple of
classic
those
German styles, pilsners.
A couple of those, like the nut brown ale, you had put on nitro and just gives it a creaminess.
Yeah, that beer is great. On the nitro, it's fantastic. I love that.
That's
Of course, I never remember to drink it. I'm always like, just give me a Canby.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's like I'm an addict. Just give me what I want.
You mentioned the stout that you're going to be making. We going to put that on the nitro?
That's a good question. Could probably do a few kegs of nitro on that.
You ever thought about canning any of the beers with the nitro in it?
Thought about it, yes, but the logistics of putting a widget into a can or whatnot is a little daunting, or it's just equipment-wise, it's out of our scope. We're pretty small. I just had a can of Guinness the other day with a little widget in it, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I still don't know how they do that, but they like drop a little thing in each can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have the technology,
Yeah,
the funds, I guess.
that'd be pretty cool.
Tell Treehouse, they should be doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Why not? They can do everything.
I had mentioned this on a couple other episodes, but since you mentioned pilsners and stuff, I was at a Jack and Jill recently and won a 30 rack of Bud Light, and it was quite nice having just a 30 rack. Brought me back to my 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny because my teenage son was just telling me how he was at a party and they were drinking Busch Light.
Oh, boy.
Like, wow. He's like, it doesn't really taste like anything. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's crushable, right?
All right. Well, Mike, thank you very much. I just got one last question. Where can we find the beer? Where's the tap room locations? We mentioned both Amherst and Springfield, but, if you know the addresses, do you know any retail sales where we can pick it up? And what kind of hours does the breweries have?
Wow. I just make the beer. I don't know these. So we're coming live to you from 1500 Main Street in downtown Springfield, Mass. Plenty of parking on site, or you could park inside at the garage and get validated. I believe it's validated.
Yes. Yep. It's validated.
So yeah, we're here, and then we're here Tuesday through Saturday. We're open for lunch every day at 11, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And then we're stay open till like 9 or 10. We're not a late night place. You're not going to come down here late night. But and then weekends it's like 11 till 7 or 8 or something. And yeah, downtown Amherst. Come on down there. 24 North Pleasant Street, center of Amherst, right across from Antonio's Pizza Slice. Same menu, great beers, great location. Retail, you can find us all over Western Mass, especially in your big chain stores, Liquors 44, Table and Vine. I always tell people Table and Vine, they always carry us. They've got a great selection.
Yeah.
But if you don't see us, ask for us by name. Get us out there.
Definitely.
That's about all we can do.
Is White Lion just in Massachusetts, or are they anywhere else in New England?
No, we started going to Connecticut last year. So
Okay.
we're down in Connecticut. We pretty much in Western Mass, but we do ship to Boston. We got a couple choice counts out there that we ship to. And but yeah, that's it. Mass and Connecticut right now.
Nothing international?
Not international yet. But my daughter wants to go to Japan, so you never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take some beer with your girl.
Well, that's all I got. Thank you very much, Mike, for coming on the podcast, and do appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
All right. Take care.
It's been a pleasure. All right. Cheers.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Beers That FITZ. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of craft beer. Don't forget to rate, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's episode. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for all updates, behind-the-scenes content, and more. And remember, new episodes drop every Thursday, so be sure to join us next week for another great conversation with the people behind your favorite brews. Until then, grab a pint, enjoy, and cheers to good times and great beers. Slanja. So just to test the microphones, tell me what you had for breakfast.
This morning I had my usual breakfast of coffee.
That's it? That's all you eat?
Yeah.
You don't eat breakfast too much?
No.
Oh.
Occasional banana, but usually just coffee.
It's always good to get something in your system. It's Best meal of the
It's the
day.
most important meal of the day.
Yes.
Except for the after work beer. That's the most important.
Yeah.